again and again you will make the same grave mistakes of choosing the partner, and because this is one of the most important choices that you can make, this may put you down into the dumps. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. When we choose our partner, what are the basis for our choices and how do we end up with a person? Is it all about our astrological placements, or is there a good bearing of the choices that we make based on the flexibility that the zodiac has given us? However, there will always be that a certain pattern exists or given to us by the zodiac. I've talked a little bit about this in how you run into some cycles, which means that if your life has to go through challenges, say for example from a relationship perspective, then you will find that you get into one relationship after the other with more or less similar kinds of problems. There may be either a challenge of stability, or there may be a challenge of misplaced values, principles, and there may be sometimes the challenge of you or the other person not being from the same community, maybe from the same background, and so there may be these challenges which afflict you. So sometimes you will find that there is a pattern if you are choosing the person based on your personal choices, and the zodiac keeps putting you into that corner, into that direction, maybe because that's your karma. There is a karmic debt which you need to pay off to the other person, and sometimes it so happens that the people who you need to pay the debt off to may be the ones who come in your life one after the other, and these people, because of the debt that you're carrying, may be the ones who afflict your life most. They are the ones who may trouble you the most. Now a simple thing is that if you're going completely basis my choice, I like that person, so handsome, so rich, something like that, and you're not going in depth, not looking at the main important reasons, then what may happen is that again and again you will make the same grave mistakes of choosing the partner, and because this is one of the most important choices that you can make, this may put you down into the dumps. So my suggestion is that I will be giving you certain tips. I'll be sharing certain pointers to you how you can go ahead and make the choice, keeping in mind your astrological placements also, so that you don't end up making the same grave mistake which many people are right now making, at least from a relationship perspective. So first thing, never marry for material reasons. For example, somebody is very good looking, somebody is very rich, somebody is a celebrity or a very famous person, or somebody's financial background is very strong, somebody comes from an affluent family but the person himself or herself is not doing much, and maybe the person is coming from a lifestyle which you choose to or want to or aspire towards that. But how do you know that that lifestyle may continue or not? So if you look at these reasons, which I consider them to be flimsy reasons, that somebody is very good looking, somebody is very rich, somebody is kind of a celebrity, or somebody has a certain lifestyle, how do you know that that lifestyle will continue? I know a person who married a woman because she was very good looking and she came from an affluent lifestyle. But it so happened after the person got married to the girl, the family said, no, you take care of her. So the affluent background immediately was given to him as a responsibility, and because the girl came from an affluent background, she expected the husband to cater to all her needs, all the material needs which her father was able to take care of. The girl was very good looking, and because this guy was struggling, trying to keep up with her expectations, not being able to adhere to them, not being able to satisfy them, what happened? Within a couple of years, they started to drift apart. The girl then found somebody else who was richer, who was able to take care of her needs, and the girl went off with that guy. So sometimes if you look at flimsy reasons and then you choose your life partner basis that somebody is very good looking, somebody is very has a good lifestyle, somebody may show you the promise of giving you the lifestyle, but what happens if they fall into troubled times? Somebody may be very good looking. What if somebody goes through a health challenge because of which they put on a lot of weight? They have hormonal imbalances. Then what do? My pointer to you is never marry because of material reasons. Many times we look at these things and then we take the relationship forward or want to take the relationship forward. These are flimsy reasons. If you want to choose a partner, the main foundation on which you can lay these bricks, the main foundation should be what is the overall personality of the person, what is the character of the person, what is the attitude of the person, what is the sense of responsibility, accountability, what are the principles, what are the values, what are the financial goals, what is the financial planning, how are they able to be flexible in different situations, and are they people who have a strong sense of commitment towards the relationship. They are not flimsy in their own mind. Then they have the humility to be able to accept their mistakes when they make them. They have a strong understanding, they have a strong sense of empathy, and very, very important, there are a lot of common interests which you or with yours which overlap, because of which you can find common areas which you can do together, which will be fun, which will also be invigorating, which will also keep the relationship alive. Secondly, a relationship which cannot be socially acknowledged. It doesn't matter whether you are in the live-in relationship, you are not married legally or otherwise, but it should be socially acknowledged. If you are in the live-in relationship, your friends, your family should know, so that you're part of the social fabric. You're not left alone, you're not hiding that marriage, the relationship under a carpet. This is very important for a family bonding, so that the person is involved with your family and vice versa, you are involved with that family, because there is some degree of social adherence, social norms also. It's difficult for us to go back to a sister or a mother or an aunt to say that I'm going away from my partner. They may say, no, he's so good, why are you doing that? So there is some pressure which may also bring forward to you all the good points that the guy has, because of which you may not leave the person. But if there is no warning bell to you, there is nobody to tell you this is a good guy, what are you doing, are you being stupid? He takes care of the children, he takes care of most of your stuff. We find that you are too aggressive with him, you need to take care of your stuff. Then we may take a back seat, because there is so much of social pressure on us which reminds us of our own fallacies, and that is very important sometimes to keep the two people together, to keep them both grounded. Then a sense of ambition, how ambitious both of them are. Are they going to be able to take care of the responsibilities, say for example of the kids? If both of them are very ambitious, and sometimes one may not want to step in for somebody else, say no, I've got this important meeting, no, you take a leave. And then if a woman is very ambitious and the man is continuously telling her to step in for the children, for a parent teachers meeting, or when the child has to go for some important assignment, or when the child falls sick, then there is going to be more pressure, especially both of them are very, very ambitious. Then you need to think whether you want to have children as part of the equation or not before you get married. Then the financial status, the financial planning. If one is very, very flamboyant with the expenses, wants to live it up, other person is very conservative, doesn't want to, then there will always be this friction of the lifestyle arrangements, of the lifestyle following that they want to have. So it needs to be very, very important what kind of lifestyle both of them believe in. And then keeping that in mind, make that as the pillar: shared values, shared concerns, shared goals, shared principles, shared lifestyle, shared background, and socially acknowledged relationship. These are the keys which will cement your relationship further. Then astrologically, some no-nos. Many times people come to me and say, I am Mangalik, the other person is also Mangalik, so the relationship can happen. Our Pandit has told us, both of us are Mangalik, it's good. So generally, what are the Mangalik placements? Mars is either in your Lagna, which is the ascendant, the first house, or the fourth house, or the seventh house, or the eighth, or the 12th house. These are the generally accepted Mangalik positions. But even the second house I consider to be to a certain degree a Mangalik position. If Mars is in any of these houses of the boy as well as the girl, then it is said to be that the Mangalik dosha or the Mangal dosha is to be cancelled. However, if Mars is in the fourth house in Aries in one person's chart, then the person doesn't have a Mangalik dosha. The person is surely Mangalik but does not have a Mangal dosha. If the other person has a strong affliction of Mars, for example, one person has Mars in the Lagna in Aries, but other person has Mars in the fourth house but in Cancer, which is a debilitated Mars, then the cancellation will not be to the extent that you are thinking. So their care has to be taken to see that there should be some benefic aspect. Otherwise, there could be challenges which are continuing in spite of the Mangalic dosha getting cancelled. But if both of them have strongly afflicted Mars, for example, one person has a debilitated Mars in the 4th house, somebody else has Mars and Saturn in the 7th house, then this is definitely a very, very concerning position, and you need to look in depth before the two people are getting married, assuming that the Mangal dosha is cancelled. It may not be the case. Then both of you having strong doshas in your chart. For example, one has a Shrapit dosha, Saturn and Rahu together, either in the 4th house or in the 7th house or the 2nd house or even in the 5th house. Other person also has the same dosha or maybe an equally challenging dosha. Say for example the Vish dosha, Saturn and Moon together, again in any of these houses. My thing is that if both of them have similar doshas or same doshas, for example Shrapit dosha in both the horoscopes in whichever house it may be, or Vish dosha again whichever house it may be, or one has the Shrapit dosha in whichever house, other person has the Vish dosha in whichever house, then it has to be carefully studied whether there is any cancellation or benefic aspect on them, because this could be a tough situation for both the partners in the long term. Then if both their lagnas are very strongly afflicted, then too this can be a challenge in the long run. You need to think twice before you want to get married to that person. Then 7th house and 7th lord, as well as Jupiter afflicted for a girl, and 7th house afflicted and 7th lord afflicted, and Venus also afflicted for a man. You need to think twice whether you want to get married to such a person, especially if you have stronger affliction also. If you have a very, very strong chart, other person has strong affliction, then it is complementing or balancing off to such an extent. But do that only if you are deeply and madly in love with other person. If it's coming through a horoscope matching, there is not too much of attraction or affiliation towards each other, and if other person has strongly afflicted chart, you have a good chart, then you will be compromising some of the placements of your chart, so it is better to avoid that. Then strongly afflicted Dusthanas in both their horoscope, your 6th house and 8th house are afflicted, or your 6th house is strongly afflicted, other person's 8th house is strongly afflicted, or both your 6th and 8th as well as the other person's 6th house or the 8th house is strongly afflicted, then you are inviting challenges, and in some situations this could be a recurring pattern of challenges continuing to exist throughout your lives. Then look at the overlapping dasha, which is called the dasha sandhi. For example, you are having a Saturn dasha along with the other person's Saturn dasha, especially if the sandhi or the overlapping is for 7 years. You may have started your Saturn dasha earlier, the other person's Saturn dasha may be coming later, but if the overlap of Saturn dasha is for 7 years with each other's Saturn dasha, then there is a point of concern. Same thing if Saturn and Rahu dashas are also overlapping for 7 or more years, then there is a challenge. If your Ketu dasha is overlapping with other person's Rahu or Saturn dasha for at least 4 years, then too it is a point of concern. You need to think twice, or you need to be very careful during that dasha period so that the households both do not rock too much. And similarly for a Sadesati period, if the Sadesati period is overlapping for 4 or more years, then this is really a big spot of bother. A lot can go wrong if 3 or more years of Sadesati is overlapping and 4 years of Sadesati is overlapping, then it could be a very, very bad phase for both the partners. Now we have talked about the D1 chart, but you need to look at the D9 chart because it is as important, if not more important than the D1. Which means if you have similar placements, for example, you have Mars in the 4th house in your Lagna chart and you have Mars in the 7th house in your D9 chart, very, very strong Mangalic placement. You have a Shrapit dosha in your Lagna chart, you have a Vish dosha or another Shrapit dosha, because of the Shrapit dosha being Vargotama, means same placement in your Lagna chart as well as your D9 chart, and of course it's going to be a problem. Then Saturn in your Lagna, in both your Lagna chart as well as your D9 chart, partner also having Saturn in either the 4th or the 7th house. When you have a strong Vargotama Saturn in the Lagna or the 4th and the 7th, that is going to be a problem. And Rahu in both your 7th houses in your Lagna chart and Malefics in both your 7th houses in your D9 chart, calling for trouble. And then Vargotama Dusthana malefic planets, which means in your Dusthanas 6, 8 and 12 houses, especially 6 and 8 houses, in your Lagna chart as well as in your D9 you have malefics placed there. Similarly, for the partner in the Dusthana, especially in the 6th and 8th houses, malefics placed in their charts also, then again it's going to be a big spot of bother for both of you, because loans, external challenges, health challenges may become the bane of the relationship. And then in your D9 chart, if you are with the same ascendant and if your malefics placed either in the 7th house or in the Lagna, then too it could be a challenge, because the ascendants are same and it is a very strong placement, and malefics are placed both in the Lagna or in the 7th house for both of you, then too it is going to be a challenge for both of you. So what does this mean? I've given you a lot of pointers towards how, both at a practical level, at a society level, you need to be careful of how you choose your partner, and from an astrological placement also, how you need to be careful of what to avoid as much as possible. And the third and the last thing, please, when you make the choice, when you make a choice from an astrological point of view alone, or make the choice from a practical societal point alone, then you may be making a grave mistake. Do a balance between the two. Going only with astrological placement, thinking that will guarantee you happiness, may not be the right thing. You need to be able to meet up with the person, talk to the person, understand shared values, understand strong goals, financial goals, family goals, lifestyle goals, and look at the astrological placement, and together then make the decision. Then you have no guarantee but a stronger promise, then you may have a more happy married life and a long lasting marriage. So friends, understand your placements, understand the partner's placement if you are not married yet. But if you are married, then look at what are the challenges which may ensue in the near future, and be more prepared for it, so that you may not allow those challenges to rock your relationship, rock the stability in your union. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.